Hey, this is Matthew, and welcome back to Nerd News Today, and it's time for another statue unboxing and review, and today it's time for Mortal Kombat. I'm not going to do the scream. I did it like the first video, I'm pretty sure. I don't need to do that again. Do you want me to do it again? I'll do it again. Okay, I'll do it again. Mortal Kombat! You happy now? So this piece is from Diamond Select as part of their Gallery Diorama series, which is Diamond Select's PVC figure diorama line, and this time we've got Kitana. This is the first female character in the series, and also the second figure in the series at all. So, we kicked things off here with Sub-Zero. A few months back, he was the first figure in the wave. We've now got Kitana. After this is Scorpion. Hopefully we'll take a look at him too. But yeah, very excited with how this line has been so far, and I've got some pretty great expectations about this. But before we get her out of the box, let's just take a look at this packaging. So Kitana is in what's going to be, I guess, now the traditional style we're going to have for all of the Mortal Kombat PVC pieces. She's got a fairly large box. Might be larger than she actually needs, but that's just kind of what Diamond does, and it's their best way of keeping things as well protected as possible. So we've got a red and black color scheme. There's a lot of blood splatters and this and that on it. But the cool thing about those blood splatters is a lot of them are actually pixelated. And I don't think I picked up on that last time. But yeah, you guys can actually take a little bit closer look here. You'll see, like, it's pixelated. That's cool. It's meant to be like the original graphics, the original video game. So that's kind of cool. We have windows on the left, right, and of course the front as you're seeing as this video scrolls by. And as always, we've got the handy-dandy Diamond Select sunroof for when Kitana needs to get her tan. The back of the packaging has a really great large picture of what the statue looks like, or at least the prototype of the statue, hand-painted. And we also get a decent bio about who Kitana is. It also lets us know that this piece was designed by Nelson X. Asensio and sculpted by Salvador Gomez, who I believe also did the Sub-Zero piece together. I think one of the things that I actually would like on the packaging is to let us know which game this represents, because, this one's fairly clear. I think you guys can pick up right away which one it's from. But I think other pieces you're going to see, you're going to have maybe some timey-wimey issues. If you're a big Mortal Kombat fan, you'll know when it was, or you'll know which game it was from. But for other statues in particular, I think it'd be cool if they actually tell you this is what this character is based on. So just a thought, throwing it out there, Diamond. But we're not here to spend all day looking at the packaging, so let's go ahead, get Kitana loose, and take a look at her from all angles. All right, and here is our Kitana out of the box. This is a really cool piece out of the packaging. You guys can see it for yourselves now. There's a lot to talk about here. Some good, some bad. Let's just jump right into things here. So normally I would talk about the face, but there isn't much of a face to talk about here because it's covered up by this mask. I think I had that exact same thing that I said when I looked at the Sub-Zero statue, but it's still very much true. We can see her eyes, and those are very nice, but other than that, not really much face detail to talk about because it's all covered up. So I guess we can talk a little bit about that hair, though, because that hair is really awesome. Look at how great this flowing hair looks. That's an excellent sculpting job on the hair. I love how that looks. I love the motion of it, too. And it goes hand in hand with the fans, the pose, because, these are meant to be kind of generating some air, generating some wind, so I think it's definitely got this really great wind-swept look to it that I like a lot. So the pose of this piece is a little bit more interesting than usual because they're making some interesting choices here, and one of those is that her shoulder here is kind of like positioned upwards, whereas I think like most people probably be expecting it to be a little bit more just like flat and straight down. Kind of hard to describe it, but I'll grab my Lady Deadpool because I happen to have her here. We recently looked at her on the channel too. So you can see her shoulder here. It's kind of just really more horizontally oriented, and it's kind of on the same plane as the rest of her shoulders are. In the case of our Kitana, her shoulder is actually positioned a little bit upward. So that's kind of unique, a little interesting choice. And the reason I bring it up, it's a really weird detail to bring up, but the reason I do bring it up is because she's kind of jutting that shoulder forward. And it looks a little funny, even though it's actually not. It is anatomically correct. But it's an interesting choice because, again, this is meant to be her not just having her fans whipping about straight up and down like she's just waving you. She's actually meant to be looking like she's in combat. So I think this choice to have her shoulder kind of jutting forward a little bit more shows that this is more of an active pose and less passive. Because, when you're talking about this kind of pose here, passive would be if her arm was just kind of straight, flat down. More so like this shoulder. This shoulder is a lot more passive. This one up here is activated. It's ready to go into battle. So that's kind of the difference here, and I wanted just to point that out because it's an interesting choice, and I respect them for making that choice. Now the pose of the rest of the statue, too, is also really interesting, too. You can see here, this Kitana is what's cool about her is that she's not just like some little thin mini here, some thinny mini, if you will. This is actually a little more of a thick Kitana. And you know what, since I've already got this piece out here, I'm going to show you guys again. Here's that Lady Deadpool, and you can see what I'm talking about a little bit more. So Lady Deadpool is, fairly slender. This Kitana here has got a little bit more width to her body, and I respect that, too. I like that they made that choice. And her legs, you can see, are also really thick and muscly, and that's, again, really great, because she is a fighter. So in some ways, this is actually a little more realistic than a lot of other female statues we looked at recently. In fact, I'll go ahead and I'll pull out this Harley Quinn we just looked at recently, too, and you can see what I'm talking about. Look at how small Harley's legs are compared to Kitana's. And granted, these characters are actually about the same height. If Harley was standing, she would be roughly the same height that Kitana is. So that's not the issue. The issue is muscle mass and tone, and this Kitana statue has got a heck of a lot more of it than, frankly, what we're used to seeing from a lot of Diamond pieces. As for me, I'm a fan of that. I think she should be. I think there should be more very muscly characters. This one is very muscly. I mean, look at that thigh. I mean, she does not miss leg day as Kitana. So that's a really cool thing I wanted to show you guys and just point it out because, yeah, this is not going to be your typical sexy pose. This is an active fighter on the battlefield. It's still very sexy, but this is a fighter. And while this is an active pose, it's also a pretty elegant, beautiful kind of pose too, because we got these great fans flowing over here too, which adds a lot to the volume of the piece as well. And, you know, it's a pretty graceful kind of way she's walking across the battlefield too, but again, you can tell she's business because you can tell by the look in her eyes, you can tell by how her body is. She is about to get into a fight, and someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, and only one of them is going to walk out with their head still on. One thing I do find a little bit odd, but it's probably accurate to the comic, is that she's got lifts on. I don't know if Kitana has lifts or not. I never paid attention to that, but that's just a weird thing to know. I mean, would you want to go into the battlefield with lifts on your feet? I don't know. And again, having looked at other female characters recently, man, I mean, that Harley Quinn we just showed you guys had boots. Lady Deadpool and our Ghost Spider statue we also looked at recently don't. They just had, you know, their normal flat feet, I guess you could say. This statue has lifts in her feet. I don't know if it's a byproduct of being in the 90s or what the deal is with that. Maybe somebody out there can tell me if that's actually normal for Kitana. I feel like it's not, but then again, I mean, this is probably meant to be Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3 Kitana. You guys let me know, though. That's just a weird thing that I wanted to point out. As far as texture goes, we do actually have some texture in the gloves. It's kind of a nice fabric texture there, similarly to what we get to in this piece over here. So there is actually some texture on this otherwise overall very smooth piece. And of course the fans are a lot of fun to play with too. It's like an accordion over here. Listen to that. Can you guys hear that? The base of the piece is another really great base too. I always love all of Diamond's select bases. This is another really good one. I wish Diamond would just make these for their toys separately because man, do they do such great work with their diorama bases. Color-wise, it's just gray for the most part because it's just meant to be stone. And there's this pile of sort of like alizarin crimson, almost reddish leaves that are on the ground here that are kind of spread out here and there, along with a random wooden 2x4 just kind of laying on the ground. But believe it or not, that 2x4 actually adds a lot to the statue. If you don't mind me breaking that down real quick too, I will. Because we're talking about shapes here. You got one leg going this way, you got one leg going that way, and you have her arms also mirroring those poses here. And you've got this 2x4, which kind of reinforces, again, the horizontalness of the piece here, helps ground her a little bit, and just kind of helps direct the eye also. Because if you really look at it, you start down here, and it goes right up to here, which leads you to the statue. So really nice little sneaky design element right there. And that's an art school education in the works right there, folks. This is what I paid for. So overall, I really like this Kitana piece. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it when I first actually saw it. I was a little mixed, but once I got it out of the box, I am way more into this piece. I like the fact, again, that she's a little bit more thick than I was expecting, too. That part is really cool, because as we've seen, for the most part, typically these statues tend to be usually very, very overly sexy, and they're very thin women. I like that this one feels a little bit more realistic. And to be quite frank, if you're living in the outworld, I think you need to be a little bit thicker to survive. So Kitana definitely has that going for her. It's got some really nice color, very nicely painted as well. I don't see really any slop or any mishaps at all, none that are worth mentioning, to be quite honest. So at the end of the day, I think it's another great entry in their Mortal Kombat series. So if you want to add Kitana to your roster of Mortal Kombat characters, why not use our Amazon affiliate link in the description below? It helps us out and costs you guys nothing extra. For my money, Kitana is a definite buy and a must-have to continue the Mortal Kombat collection, which is going to be growing very steadily over the next few years. And as we already mentioned, Scorpion is coming out next, and I believe after that we've got Raiden coming up, and that's going to be him in his Mortal Kombat 1 outfit. And there is a lot more that Diamond has planned for this series, so definitely jump in on it now, because I think these statues are going to be a lot harder to find as the series progresses. So don't get left out like a lot of us were with those Avatar The Last Airbender pieces. Jump on these Mortal Kombat things right now. So that concludes our look at Kitana from Diamond Select's Gallery Diorama series of Mortal Kombat statues. Cannot wait to see what they do next. Really strong line, loving every minute of it. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys here next time with more statue reviews and unboxings. But yeah, if somebody can let me know about these feet here, just, go ahead, let me know in the comments, please.